Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation continues with Gaudi Maj Mahalla Chotha from page 174. And the recitation is as follows. Gaudi Maj Mahalla Chotha, Mai Har Namai Har Birhau Lagai Jio. मेरा हर प्रभ मित मिले सुख पाई जियो हर प्रभ देख जीवा मेरी माई जियो मेरा नाम सखा हर भाई जियो गुण गावो संत जियो मेरे हर प्रभ केरे जियो जप गुरमुख नाम जियो भाग वडेरे जियो हर हर नाम जियो प्राण हर मेरे जियो फिर बोहड़ न भवजल फेरे जियो क्यों हर प्रभ वेखा मेरे मन तन चाओ जियो हर मेलो संत जियो मन लगा भाओ जियो गुर सबदी पाइये हर प्रीतम राओ जियो गुर सबदी पाइये हर प्रीतम राओ जियो वड भागी जप नाओ जियो मेरे मन तन वडड़ी गोविंद प्रभ आसा जियो हर मेलो संत जियो गोविंद प्रभ पासा जियो सतगुर मत नाम सदा परगासा जियो जन नानक पूरियड़े मन आसा जियो The longing, the yearning, the desire for the self, the Har self, continues in this passage, as it does in the entire text of Gurbani. Hopefully, some of this is sinking in, that repeatedly we are being asked, indeed, to reach out for the Har, for the Prabh, for Govinda. We'll talk a little bit about what really does that mean, but let's first just do a literal translation of the Shabad, which is comparatively short. So the first verse, the Guru talks about the arousal within the mind of this longing for the Har. Mai Har Namai Har Birhau Lagai Jio. I have this desire to be knowledgeable of the Har. I want that self-knowledge. And I'll be very happy when I meet my friend, the Har self. Now we have to remember that knowledge of the self and the Har self are not two distinct things. They arise together. With self-knowledge comes the state of being Har self. And the Guru says, because I have this desire, it is so sharp. It makes me pine and live only for that wisdom of the Har self, which is called Prabh. Prabh means light or knowledge and is an attribute of the Har. So, mera har prabh mit mile sukh pai jiyo. I will not be at rest unless I find that wisdom. And then here is an appeal. Here is an appeal to gun gavo sant jiyo, mere har prabh kere jiyo. This is an appeal as well as an instruction to us. And that is, let's adore and sing praises to the Har self and its wisdom. So the thing to note is that there is here a hint, a clue, that we will develop spiritually only in Sangat. This is not to suggest that there is no private space, But without movement in Sangat, we will not make spiritual progress. And therefore, the need for Sangat here. Gunagavo Sant Jio. Sant here is being referred to people who are on this path. They could be ahead of you, they could be behind you, but single-mindedly devoted to seeking the Har self through Gurbani. So to receive the tutelage of the Guru Enlightener in a congregation, and then to recite, to reflect, and absorb self-knowledge, meaning internalize self-knowledge, which is referred to in Gurbani generically as Naam, that we are being told is a matter of the utmost great fortune. Jap Gurumukh Naam Jio, Bhag Vadere Jio. So if you do jap, which I've described as recite, reflect, and absorb, because it is really a broad term and it can involve any or all of these activities. And then the internalization is Bhag Vadere, great fortune. And Har Har Naam Jio, Pran Har Mere Jio. It is so important. It is as important as breathing for my life. Once that state is achieved, Fir Bahar na Pavjal Feri Jio. Pavjal, symbolic term used in Gurbani over and again to refer to literally the ocean of fear. And this signifies our existence in this world, but our existence in the ego mind. And the ego mind is constantly cycling. So what is being said here is that once you attain this wisdom, the ego is dissolved. Bahar Pavjal Feri Jio. So that cycle of the ego will stop. So, in other words, mission accomplished. And then again, in the form of a question, instruction for us. Kyun har prabh vekha mere man tan chao jiyo? Mere man tan vich chao, inspired. I am inspired, and I'm asking, how should I understand and acquire prabh vekha? Vekha, visualize this knowledge. In other words, how does it enter my mind? So that inspiration, which comes from that longing, the desire, you have to have desire, which will motivate you and then cause you to desire even more. And so this is an instruction and an appeal here. The second line says, after he is asked, Kyun har prabh vekha? He says, Har melo sant jio, man laga pao jio. So not only is this yearning, but man laga pao, feeling of love, devotion, which develops when Har melo sant jio. Here Sant is the Guru, the enlightener. We also have to keep in mind when we read Gurbani that a lot of these verses were composed hundreds of years ago in a different historical setting. So imagine Guru Ram Das, the fourth Nanak, is composing this verse, and who is he referring to when he says Har Melo Sant Jio? Clearly he is referring to the Guru, but the Guru is embodied as the third Guru at that time, because he was the living embodiment of the Guru, Guru Amar Das. That is now available as to us through text and through Sangat. But the idea of mentoring must always be borne in mind, because to progress, some level of mentorship is necessary. So, har melo sant jio, man laga pao jio. Sant, the Guru principle, is an absolute necessity. So the Guru is not just outside, because when you engage with the Guru Granth Sahib, what you are doing is you are tapping into the Gur within. The text is a means for you to recite so that you sound, and that gives you meaning, and then you internalize that meaning, and that becomes lodged in you at the cellular level. The Gur, it finds the Gur within. So that's how the process works. So reciting, sounding, reflecting, absorbing, self-knowledge, Nam, starting with the text of Bani, is an absolute indispensable tool for the path of the Guru. Other paths have their own methodologies, but if you are looking at the way of Guru Nanak, then this is it. And in conclusion, and of course, I digress, Har Melo Sant Jio. So you need to meet the Gur Sabad. The Gur and Sabad, again, like Naam and the Har Naam and Har, same idea. No difference in the meaning and the sound of the word. They are innately connected. Difficult to understand this idea, but if you reflect long enough on it, you will get the point of what I'm trying to say. We only have 15 minutes, so Gur Sabdi, the Sabad, is where Naam Sada Par Ghasa Jio, the light of the Sabad. And we talked a little bit about the Sabad in yesterday's passage, so I will not repeat myself. But I have mentioned it here briefly. Then, once the Sabad of the Guru is internalized, Mere Manatan Vadri Govind Prabha Asa Jio, he's sort of paraphrasing what he has said already, that in me is this great desire, this great expectation, this great longing for the Govind. Here he uses Govind, which is another attribute, for the one who is sustaining my life. I have that longing. Har Melo Sant Jio Govind Prabha Pasa Jio. Again, emphasizing that fact again. Har Melo Sant Jio. Sant, Guru Shabad, please connect me with that state called Har. Prabha Pasa Jio. Pasa is to be connected, to be tied. So Prabha Pasa Jio, connect me, tie me, embellish me with that wisdom. Satguru Mat Naam Sada Pargasa, so that the light of Naam, self-knowledge, illuminates and enlightens my mind forever. Jana Nanak Puri Man Asa Jio. This is the fulfillment of the yearning. And this is also the end of Fir Paurna Pav Jalaferi Jio. Now, Gurbani, we find, repeatedly speaks of union with the Har, or the Prabh, or Govind. So it might not be out of place to just take a minute and see how that these terms are really metaphors for a friend, protector, beloved that are used. They're really metaphors, and it is important to recognize that what is being referenced to, as I said, is higher states of consciousness that already abide in us, but they remain untapped and are inaccessible because of the ego. Har is the self. And what is the self? The self is simply a symbol to denote that higher state of consciousness within us. Prabh, as I mentioned, also refers but signified through its chief property, which is light. Govind, again, we've talked about it, suggesting protection and sustenance. And it seems to me that part of our confusion appears to stem from the fact that our ego, as we have said repeatedly, that we mistakenly look at ourselves to be discrete entities, or even as an individual center of experience that is discrete from others, instead of viewing ourselves as organized patterns of information which subsist in the structure of consciousness itself. Consciousness is just not a blank page. It has a universal mind. Universal consciousness comes with a mind, which is this information knowledge. So together, we are all collectively the universal consciousness. So when we read a passage like the one that we are considering, the plea to meet the Har should be seen in the context of seeking Guru wisdom, which already is inside, seeking a way to tap that in order to break through to these higher states of consciousness. Why? Because when we break through our ego consciousness, we discover the silence and the awareness of the moment. We learn to live in the moment, and it is only in the moment that we can experience the rapture of being alive, and that is a blessing. Life becomes joyful, life becomes passionate, life becomes focused. This is what Gurbani calls bhakti. On that note, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.